There are plenty of occasions in every life that you just retain because of the sheer shock value of them. Where were you when you heard about the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan? Where were you when the Challenger uh, blew up shortly after takeoff? Where were you when you heard about 9/11? Those are things you'll never forget. It is rare when you're actually watching television, a news channel, when something like that occurs, but there are some occasions where that is true. For instance, the OJ chase through the freeways of Los Angeles. You were quite likely watching that live as it happened. Perhaps January 6th falls in that category. I can remember sitting here watching January 6th unfold, and I remember distinctly what I said that day, which is this is bad. This is intolerable. This is not what America is all about. I bring all that up because another one of those moments just played out before me on TV. I don't expect that you were probably watching it. You, in the aftermath of Memorial Day, probably returned to work. Maybe you're listening to this later on a podcast. But trust me, what happened today outside or just across the street from the courtroom where Donald Trump is being tried for who knows what, because we haven't really been told what the crime is that Trump is accused of. That's bad enough. Now, what played out on the streets of New York is a direct contrast to what we have been told throughout this first of what the Democrats hope will be 4 trials of Donald Trump. And that is a clear demonstration that this effort to get Trump is a purely political prosecution. This is the kind of thing they do in third world countries, banana republics, where the chief rival to a politician who holds power is chased and charges are exaggerated, magnified. The law is bent in order to keep the person in power who is in power. I've not said that to this point, but it was very clear to me that this is what is going on when Joe Biden announced over the weekend, or the White House announced over the weekend, that as soon as there is a verdict in the Trump trial in New York, Joe Biden will comment on it from the White House, regardless of whether Trump is found guilty or not guilty, whether the jury hangs or whether the judge directs the verdict, which is definitely not going to happen because this judge wants Donald Trump convicted and is doing everything he can to convict Donald Trump. But whatever the result of the Trump trial in New York is, Joe Biden is going to address it from the White House. What? Like, this is crazy. Why would Joe Biden do that? Because Joe Biden, plummeting in the polls as he is, knows that his only chance to win the general election is to paint Trump as a worse alternative to him. And the only way to do that is certainly not on Donald Trump's record as president immediately preceding Joe Biden. It is because Trump is a, of course, threat to democracy. But this morning in New York, across the street from the courthouse where Donald Trump and his attorneys are making their final arguments in the case, the Biden re-elect campaign held a press conference while the jury is hearing final arguments in advance of the judge giving the jury final instructions. And they trotted out the 80-year-old actor Robert De Niro, who has been for 8 years one of the most unhinged, lunatic critics of Donald Trump, and fully on brand for unhinged, lunatic critics of Donald Trump. Robert De Niro walking outside on a sunny May 28th mid-morning in Manhattan shows up wearing a mask. Shows up wearing a mask. Before De Niro took the podium, a Biden campaign surrogate took the podium. Remember, This is not political. Remember, Joe Biden won't comment because he doesn't want to influence the jury. This jury's not going to be sequestered. This jury, if they don't start deliberations today, finish deliberations today, they're going to go home tonight and they're going to be able to watch this on the news. Oh, this won't prejudice their deliberations at all. First, here is, I don't know his name because his name was not given, the Biden surrogate who introduces Robert De Niro. Give this a listen.
First and foremost, we're not here today because of what's going on over there. We're here today because you all are here. And so we are proud, we are glad that you're all here this morning. We're here primarily because of the threat that Donald Trump poses to the United States of America.
Not political.
We are, of course, grateful to have two brave officers, Michael Fanone and Harry Dunn, who defended our democracy and our Capitol against the violent mob that Trump incited on January 6th.
Not political.
And of course, we are happy to have Robert De Niro, a native New Yorker who can spot BS a mile away and isn't afraid to call it out.
Oh, yes. Robert De Niro, a guy who can spot BS a mile away and is not afraid to call it out. You mean the same Robert De Niro who has gained fame because of what other people have written for him his entire career? The Robert De Niro who memorizes words that other people put in his mouth so that he can create entertainment, fiction. That Robert De Niro? Okay, great. So De Niro then steps up to the podium, and this is so priceless. Here is a piece of what Mr. You Talking to Me had to say today in New York City at the podium.
It's kind of crazy. It's really crazy, and this thing, Donald Trump has created this. He should be telling them not to do this, but he's just, he wants to sow total, he wants to sow total chaos, which he's succeeding in some areas and places to do. Anyway, beside all that, this is my neighborhood, downtown New York City. I grew up here and feel at home in these streets.
He's reading all this.
The Twin Towers fell just over here, just over there. This part of the city was like a ghost town. But we vowed we would not allow terrorists to change our way of life.
You get it? 9/11 happened just over here. World Trade Center towers fell. We would not allow terrorists to affect our way of life. But he's here to talk about Donald Trump. He's here to equate 9/11 and the death of 3,000 Americans by terrorists who flew airplanes into buildings on a similarly sunny Midtown Manhattan morning. Robert De Niro is here to tell you that Donald Trump is Mohammed Atta and all the other Saudi terrorists, that Donald Trump is going to do that to America writ large, that 9/11 and J6 are the same thing, that Donald Trump and the Saudi terrorists are the same thing. And Robert De Niro, a guy who does not even feel this passionately in his own head that he can articulate it from his own brain without somebody else writing it down for him, he's going to put the pieces of this puzzle together for you. But it's not political.
And we started the Tribeca Festival to bring people back. I love this city. I love this city. I don't want to destroy it. Donald Trump wants to destroy not only the city, but the country, and eventually he could destroy the world. But we vowed we would not allow terrorists to. I owe this city a lot.
Man, the first reading of every script De Niro gets must be really, really rough. Because this looks like the first time he's ever read this. Donald Trump wants to destroy this city, this country, and eventually the world. And eventually in these comments, which go on and on and on, for De Niro, he says, I don't want to scare you. Donald Trump may destroy this city, this country and eventually the world, but I don't want to scare you. I don't want to scare you. But if you vote for this guy, he could destroy the city, the country, and the world. He's a Saudi terrorist wrapped in a New York developer's body. De Niro says, "This is my city." How many skyscrapers did you build in New York City, De Niro? How many?
Time's up. Clouds and sun. Breezy day today. Afternoon thunderstorm in a couple of different spots.
Wow. Incredible nonsense from a guy who owes his entire success to other people. Nice job, De Niro. I'll never watch another one of your movies again.
And that's why it's so weird that Donald Trump is just across the street. Because he doesn't belong in my city. I don't know where he belongs, but he certainly doesn't belong here. Terrorist. I owe this city a lot. And that's why it's so weird that Donald Trump is just across this terrorist to change our way of life. And we started the Tribeca Festival to destroy the world. But we vowed we would not allow terrorists to...
What a moron.
That can completely free you of your debt. Total financial
freedom. What a moron.
Debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call
My point about Michael Cohen, yeah, he stole money. Not just a conviction. Michael Cohen was...
You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
I don't need to tell you how important a good night's sleep is. For your body, your mind, your outlook on life. But like most people, sometimes you just can't fall asleep or you wake up during the night. So, let me tell you about Z-Factor, a 100% drug-free supplement that helps you fall asleep faster, sleep longer, and sleep better. Z-Factor is from the makers of Relief Factor, so they've done their homework. Z-Factor is more than just melatonin. Developed by doctors, it's a precise formula of 4 all-natural ingredients that calm your mind and relax your body so you ease into sleep faster. And sleep through the night, restful and uninterrupted. You wake up refreshed and never drowsy. Rediscover the joy of a wonderful night's sleep. Try Z-Factor from Relief Factor and save 46% on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Bruce Hooley here, and if you watch the news at all, you know that Mike Lindell and his MyPillow family no longer have the support of big box stores or the shopping channels the way they used to. They've been part of the cancel culture, and they're the targets, so they want to pass the savings of being canceled directly onto you by having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was a one-product company. With the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some of which you may not even know about. To get the word out, I want to invite my listeners to check out their $25 extravaganza. For instance, a 2-pack multi-use MyPillow, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping too. This amazing offer won't last long, so go to MyPillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce.
Well, did I ever get an education last week when I went to the offices in Dublin of QC Kinetics. You got your choice, Dublin or Gehenna. They have local offices to help you get out of pain with advanced regenerative medicine. I didn't really know what that meant, other than I knew it did not involve surgery, which, you know, if you don't have to go under the knife, that's beneficial to you. Your downtime will be considerably less, but you got to get rid of that pain, right? The elbow, the knee, the neck, the ankle pain, the back pain that you have that's keeping you from doing what you want to do. So I wanted to go to QC Kinetics. I wanted to talk to the doctors. I wanted to find out about the procedures. And what I found out is that they're very selective in who they take, because they truly want to help people, and they don't take every client who comes in. They're going to ask you a series of questions about your lifestyle, about your history, about what you have done in the past. And each treatment in the protocol is designed to do one specific thing. It's very exciting to hear about how many people they are helping, and they can probably help you as well. You'll never know until you sit for the free consultation. 614, the number is 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. 308-208-4544. QC Kinetics in Gahanna and Dublin. Get out of pain today. Extraordinary and depressing scene playing out on the street across the courthouse from the Donald Trump trial in New York City today. They are making closing arguments in the case. Defense is supposed to go like maybe 2 hours. They go first, and then the prosecution gets their last crack, and they're going to go twice as long. So the jury may get the case today. Why did the jury not get the case last week? Judge Juan Marchand wanted the jury to go home, sit around, have a Memorial Day cookout with friends. Did you have one yesterday? I did. Had a delightful time at the Memorial Day cookout that I attended over the weekend. Went to high school graduation for my daughter. That was delightful as well. Engaged, talked, spoke with a lot of friends. And that's what this jury did over Memorial Day. That's what Americans do over Memorial Day. And the judge full well knows, because he didn't sequester the jury, that in New York City, a city that voted 90+% for Joe Biden, that there's going to be a lot of pressure on these people who are on the jury. You're not going to let Trump off, are you? You're not going to be the one holdout on the jury who fails to go along with this, right? Because Donald Trump is guilty of what? Well, he's guilty of being Donald Trump. That's what he's guilty of. That's his crime. He's Donald Trump. And he's made a lot of people mad. And it's so important for the survival of our republic that Donald Trump go away, because as the actor Robert De Niro, who is the voice of the latest Joe Biden-Kamala Harris campaign commercial, said today on the streets of New York in a script that someone else wrote for him. Well, just give a listen to Bobby De Niro here on the streets of New York City.
I owe this city a lot. And that's why it's so weird that Donald Trump is just across the street.
Huh?
Because he doesn't belong in my city. I don't know where he belongs, but he certainly doesn't belong here.
Oh, I was under the impression Donald Trump's an American citizen. He can live wherever he wants to live. Robert De Niro says New York City is his city. Donald Trump doesn't belong in his city. Well, that's going to be kind of inconvenient if Donald Trump would happen to magically remove everything in New York City, Midtown Manhattan, surrounding New Jersey, areas that he has contributed to the life and vibrancy of the city, compared to De Niro doing what? Reading what other people wrote for him, complaining about things. Of course, this is a demonstration of just how political this is and how stupid the Biden administration is in denying that this was a political prosecution. And then staging a news conference across the street before the jury begins deliberations. They're all going home tonight, all 12 jurors. They're going to see this or hear about this from their neighbors. You know, Bob De Niro says Donald Trump doesn't deserve to be in New York City. Is that jury tampering? Is that influencing the jury? This is a complete and utter joke. Aside from the fact that the legal aspects of this case following the law are not there. We're all talking about, theoretically, a bookkeeping error that was committed in 2017, a misdemeanor, a crime for which the statute of limitations has expired, except if they can prove another crime in connection with the bookkeeping error which wasn't a bookkeeping error, by the way, but if they can prove that the bookkeeping error was done to conceal something else was done as part of a conspiracy, which means another crime, well, then they can revive that misdemeanor and breathe life into it beyond the statute of limitations, except our Constitution guarantees us that when you, me, or even Donald Trump goes to trial, we are entitled to know what we are accused of. We still don't know what the crime is that Donald Trump supposedly committed that makes this a felony, that revives this case from expired misdemeanor to not just one felony, but 34 felonies. Like, this is such a joke. Such a joke. They've never said this in court. And so the judge has allowed the jury to basically like say, well, it could be this, could be the second crime. It could be that, could be the second crime. It could be something else. He's allowed them to pick. It's like hometown buffet in the jury room. We'll just pick from a smorgasbord of possibilities. Did the judge allow a Federal Election Commission expert on what a campaign violation is and what it is not to testify? No, he did not allow that. No, he did not allow that. They had Michael Cohen, a serial liar, somebody who's done time in prison, who's lied to Congress, who's lied to everybody, lied on the stand this time. He's allowed Michael Cohen to come in and talk about the bookkeeping. But you know what? It was odd. Alvin Bragg and his minions on the prosecutorial side never called Trump's bookkeeper. Right? Remember the Untouchables? Who did Elliot Ness and Jimmy Malone try to get on the stand to convict Al Capone? The bookkeeper. Oh, we got to get the bookkeeper. Well, the bookkeeper in this case, a guy named Alan Weisselberg. Alan Weisselberg is in prison. Who's in charge of prison? Oh, the DA. Alan Weisselberg could have shown up at this trial and testified to what was behind the bookkeeping of the Trump organization regarding the alleged payment to Stormy Daniels, except Alan Weisselberg was never called by the prosecution. Why would that be? Wouldn't they be interested in having a perspective that might put Donald Trump behind bars for the 120 plus years that he could be put behind bars for, theoretically, if he's convicted of all 34 felony counts, each of which carries a 4-year prison sentence? Yes, I would think Alan Weisselberg would be pretty germane to this. And he's in prison, and Alvin Bragg can go get him and can bring him into court because, I don't know about you, but if my star witnesses are a porn actress who sleeps with men on video and a serial liar who's done time in prison for tax evasions and other things, I think I'd rather have the bookkeeper. He seems like a more reliable source, except they didn't have the bookkeeper because they didn't call the bookkeeper. And why did they not call the bookkeeper? Because they did not want him to say what he was going to say, which is there's no crime here. That a non-disclosure agreement, that a payoff to somebody who's going to say something embarrassing or allegedly happened that may or may not have happened, they didn't want that. But this is not political, and it's not a joke trial. It's legit.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump calls it a very sad day, a dark day in America. Mr. Trump again denouncing his prosecution as he showed up for court this morning. We New Yorkers used to tolerate him when he was just enough. As himself, does not work, and we all know that. Anyway, in the street, we tolerate it. It's part of... Here, a jury found him liable January 6th. It shows the violence of Trump and leaving death and destruction in its wake. That's why I needed to be involved and wanted to. Blood on his hands. No, he doesn't. He directs the mob to do his dirty work for him by making a suggestion. This guy who ran and hid in the White House bunker when there were protesters outside? No way. He doesn't get... But it's a coward's violence. You think Trump ever threw a punch himself? Or took one? This guy who ran and hid in the White House bunker when there were protesters outside? No way. He doesn't get blood on his hands. No, he doesn't. He directs the mob to do his dirty work for him by making a suggestion, an inference. And his gang grovels and follows his obvious order. It's no surprise that the murder rate and other violent crimes peaked under taking a suggestion, an inference. And his gang grovels and follows his obvious order. It's no surprise that the murder rate and other violent crimes peaked under Trump and are falling under Biden. And now he's promising to use our own military to attack U.S. citizens. That's the tyrant. That's the tyrant he's telling us he'll be. And believe me, he means it. When Trump ran in 2016, it was like a joke. This buffoon running for president. No, never could happen. We've forgotten the lessons of history that showed us other clowns who weren't taken seriously until they became vicious dictators. With Trump, we have a second chance. And no one is laughing now. This is the time to stop him by voting him out once and for all. We don't want to wake up after the election saying, what, again? My God, what the hell have we done? We can't have that happen again. Yesterday was Memorial Day. It's a good time to reflect on how Americans fought and died so that we may enjoy the freedoms guaranteed to us by a democratic government. I don't mean to scare you. No, Ed. Of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Under Trump, this kind of government will perish from the earth. A government that, as President Lincoln said, of the people. Yesterday was Memorial Day. It's a good time to reflect on how Americans fought and died so that we may enjoy the freedoms guaranteed to us by a democratic government. A government that happened again. Yesterday was Memorial Day. It's a good time to reflect on how Americans fought and died so that we may enjoy the freedoms guaranteed to us by a democratic government. A government that, as President Lincoln said, of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Hey, I hope if you guys are looking for new flooring, you'll give me a chance to help you remodel your space. Carpet, LVP, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, access to all the major brands. I've helped a lot of people and I enjoy it. And so if you're looking for carpet, if you're looking for flooring, looking to remodel, spend that tax return, do something nice for your space. I mean, it's not really that conducive right now to going out and buying a new home. Why don't you do what you should do to enjoy the space you live in rather than beautify it for somebody else when you get ready to sell? How can you do that? Well, you can go to brucehooley.com and click on the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner. I'll come out, I'll measure your space, and we'll get you hooked up. We'll save you money, and you will love the result. brucehooley.com, click on the flooring tab in the upper right-hand corner. Beautify your space today. Thank you very much for the consideration. So it'll be interesting to see if the jury in the Donald Trump trial takes this case seriously. If they do, if they care about the law, then Donald Trump will be exonerated. I don't expect that to happen because New York is a very partisan anti-Trump city. And I can't really put my finger on why, other than he's a Republican. And they are a Democratic city that has reaped, as Chuck Schumer said before the Supreme Court about the possible overthrow of Roe versus Wade before it happened, they have reaped the whirlwind. The city is not even close to what it used to be because it has felt the brunt of policies of bad governance from Bill de Blasio to Eric Adams. And so Trump is nevertheless hated. And when he showed up in court today, this is what the former president and hopefully future president had to say.
to our country is destroying our country. This country is being destroyed rapidly, not slowly, rapidly. On the borders, on energy, on inflation, on everything you can name. Afghanistan removal, everything about what he's done. He's destroying our country. And he's also destroying it with weaponization. And this is purely his weaponization. See who's in the courtroom. You go just see who's in the courtroom. You'll see. And you'll see where they come from. As you reported accurately, a lot of people are going to be very upset. But this is all election hunting, election interference. It's going after Joe Biden's political opponent because he can't do it himself. And they're helping out. And we have a judge who's highly conflicted. He happens to be corrupt. It's the worst confliction. It's the worst that anybody's seen. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
That's because there's never been anything like it, not in this country. And when Trump talks about, take a look at who's in the courtroom and you'll see what I mean. He's talking about one of the prosecutors that Alvin Bragg brought in is the guy who used to be number 3 at the Justice Department. Now, I would think, I mean, I know Manhattan District Attorney's Office, prestigious position and all that. Would you leave a gig as the number 3 guy at the Department of Justice, Merrick Garland, and then whoever the number 2 is, and then you are 3rd to go prosecute Donald Trump in a local DA's office? Sure, big stage, New York City and all that, but you leave your job to go join a local DA's office? Highly suspicious. And the Democrats love to talk about, no one is above the law. No one is above the law. Don't put your hand on the scales of justice. How did the judge in this case catch the Alan Weisselberg case and other cases involving Trump surrogates and also catch the Trump case? Are they short of judges in the New York criminal court system? It's coincidental, is it not, that Juan Marchand is the judge who catches all the cases involving Donald Trump and the people who used to work for Donald Trump? Probably also a coincidence that Joe Biden, on his way back to the White House on Sunday from his, I lost track, how many vacations Biden takes in his myriad Delaware beach houses. Joe made a stop on Sunday night. Where did he stop? To get ice cream? He stopped by another Sheetz, hoping this time more than 10 people would show up. No. He stopped by the home of his former daughter-in-law, Hallie Biden. Well, wasn't that sweet? Beau Biden's widow, Hunter Biden's former bed partner. How creepy is that? Like, what is up with the Biden family? Like, she marries Beau Biden dies. You know what I think I'll do to assuage my grief? I think I'll go out and sleep with my dead husband's crackhead brother. That'll make me feel better. Anyway, Joe stopped by on Sunday night at Hallie Biden's home to, no doubt, I don't know what, console her on the upcoming anniversary of Beau's death, because don't we all celebrate the 9-year anniversary of someone's death? I mean, you know, like the 25th anniversary, that's the silver anniversary. The 50th anniversary, that's the golden anniversary. What is the 9th anniversary? Don't know, but you got to celebrate. Okay. So Joe Biden stops by. Oh, wait. Could it possibly be that he stopped by because Hallie Biden is going to be called in Hunter Biden's federal gun charge trial in California, which is set to start first of next week? Nah, that couldn't be, right? I mean, Joe Biden wouldn't play it that way, right? He wouldn't stack the deck that way. In fact, you know how I know this is because White House spokesman Andrew Bates told the New York Post that the president did not discuss the trial with Hallie Biden during the visit. Well, there you go, right? Just like Loretta Lynch did not discuss with Bill Clinton on the tarmac anything about Hillary Clinton's bleach bit and smashing blackberries with hammers before James Comey said, yeah, a little suspicious, but no intent. No intent to break. This server, the private server with the government documents that were taken by them. Just, an oversight on her part. I sure hope there's one honest person on this jury. But am I optimistic that there will be one honest person on this jury? No, I'm not optimistic. Because this whole thing has been a sham since the very beginning. Here's Andy McCarthy, National Review, Fox News, his thoughts on the tiny little detail that they have yet in court to disclose the second crime that Trump supposedly committed in tandem with the alleged bookkeeping error that would revive the bookkeeping error for which the statute of limitations long ago expired. Andy McCarthy still looking for that crime. But, he's a federal prosecutor, so he's probably looking for something that, in this case, is unnecessary because, of course, this case is all about just getting Trump, not abiding by the law.
The most extraordinary thing I've ever seen in watching or trying criminal cases for decades is we're on the precipice of having summations here, and we still don't have definitivity about what the crime is. We have a situation where the statute doesn't prescribe clearly what the state says Trump did that makes him guilty. The indictment doesn't put him on notice of the trial or of the crime. We've had a 5-week trial, 5 weeks of testimony after opening statements. We're right on the verge of summations, and it's still not clear what they say he did. It's like they're making up a crime as they go along.
Now, it's an improv exercise is what this is. And normally in closing arguments, you have an attorney who gets up to represent you, and the facts of the case have been presented. One side is one portrayal of the facts, one side has another portrayal of the facts. And it is the job of the attorney, whether he's a prosecutor, whether he's the defense attorney, to say, here is what the law says. And now you as a jury have to evaluate the facts of the cases they have been presented to, number one, figure out whether the facts indeed are true. And if you deem them to be true, then you also have to apply them to the law. It's like, is it a crime? Is it a crime or is it not a crime? But imagine a scenario where the judge would tell the attorneys that they're not allowed to talk about the law, and they're not allowed to talk about whether the law applies in this case or doesn't apply in this case. Can you imagine that scenario? Wait, you don't have to imagine it, because that is what Judge Juan Marchand has told the attorneys from both sides here, that he will instruct the jury on what the law is, and that neither side is allowed to talk about the law. Now, that wouldn't really be a problem if we thought Judge Juan Marchand was a straight shooter, but we all know he's not, right? So he's going to give the jury the version of the law that the prosecution wants them to know, and he's not going to give them the version of the law that could possibly help Donald Trump's defense.
My point about Michael Cohen, yeah, he stole money, yeah.
For instance, a 2-pack multi-use MyPillow, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillow with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping too. This amazing offer won't last long, so go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Bruce. That's mypillow.com, promo code Bruce.
This is a red alert for hardworking Americans who are tired of seeing their freedoms and retirement savings threatened by the globalist agenda. Wealth Protection Research is on a mission to find whistleblowers who are exposing these schemes. Real patriotic financial warriors like Jim Rickards and Porter Stansberry. They're not afraid to tell it like it is and fight back against the system. Now, with the 2024 election storming our way, your IRA and your 401k may be in the crosshairs. That's why we've compiled our 3 favorite ideas into our election protection report. You definitely won't hear any of these in the mainstream news. Get your free copy of our election protection report now. Just text TRUTH to 76626. Plus, today you'll also get a free gold investment kit from our sponsor, Augusta Precious Metals. Text TRUTH to 76626 now and get the free report and gold investment kit. The fight for your financial freedom is on. Text the word TRUTH to 76626.
Standard text and data rates may apply.
The Caribbean is calling. Dennis Prager here. I invite you to join me on a Bible cruise this November in the Caribbean. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. We'll cruise to the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, and more while making unforgettable memories with like-minded travelers. Stroll through Curaçao's iconic pastel-colored shops and snorkel in Bonaire's world-class coral reefs. You'll enjoy some of the most delicious cuisine aboard Holland America's Rotterdam, a fantastic destination itself with riveting shows and spectacular views. This experience is more than a vacation, it's a chance to participate in profound discussions. The fresh insights I will share with you about the books of the Bible and current events should energize and challenge you. Mark your calendars, November 29th to December 8th, 2024. Learn more and secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or booking online at PragerBibleCruise.com.
New connected technology, and the Consumer Technology Association wants to help you protect the security of your devices. First, don't use the false or easy guess password. Create weak ones to keep them safe. Next, look for and install security updates from device manufacturers. Also, have an active firewall for your home router, and consider using a professional installer instead of your devices. Use search for the Consumer Technology Association to help keep your devices secure.
Well, I think I know what a foundation is, or at least I did until today when I got an email from my friends at Patriot Switch talking about this awesome value pack about foundations. And I thought, what, like cement foundations for a building? No, apparently foundation is integral to a woman's makeup. And I remembered my daughters occasionally talk about how awesome the foundation is from patriotswitch.com. Look, I don't know anything about makeup. I know my daughters need it, and I know my daughters love patriotswitch.com makeup, and I know that you'll love a lot of the other products from Patriot Switch, and I know you'll love the fact that the annual membership until the end of the month is just $1. So why not go to brucehooley.com today or patriotswitch.com/Bruce and leave your information. I'll reach out and tell you all about it. Guys, I promise we won't talk about foundation if you have an interest. But ladies, if you want to know about the great makeup, the cleaning products, the laundry detergent, the mouthwash, the toothpaste, and other things, well, I'm fully equipped to tell you all about it. Check it out, patriotswitch.com/Bruce, patriotswitch.com/Bruce. The deterioration of a once great American city continues to be demonstrated every week and almost every night here in Columbus. 2 juveniles arrested Saturday night after Columbus police officers responded to reports of shots being fired at the Easton Town Center. Well, that'll be great for business on Memorial Day weekend. Shots fired by teenagers at Easton, where how long ago did we have a murder of a teenager on a Sunday afternoon? This was shortly before 9 o'clock. An officer at the mall heard shots coming from the west parking garage. Arrested 2 teens, evacuated the garage. Thankfully, no one injured. 911 callers reported that anywhere from 6 to 25 shots were fired. Wow. Great job. Great job, Mary Andrew Ginther. Great job, Zach Klein. Great job. All of you who have turned a once safe city where this would have been unthinkable, even in the era where I used to feel totally comfortable going downtown, going to the Ohio Theater, going to the Palace Theater, wouldn't darken the door of the Short North or the downtown anymore. Won't allow my kids to go. Not safe. You wonder why people are flocking to Bridge Park in Dublin. This is why, because the parking is free and the streets are safe. Now, it's only a matter of time, of course, as the teenagers continue to turn Easton, which was once safe, into Fort Apache, the Bronx. Well, it's only a matter of time before they move to Dublin. And then I have much greater confidence in the administration in the city of Dublin and in the Dublin police force to keep the peace than I do in what's going on in our city. But that's the thing, and you should be aware of it. If you are headed to Easton and you think, oh, we'll just have a nice, peaceful, quiet Saturday night, a great place to go on Memorial Day weekend, not so much. Eyes wide open, know what is out there, know what is possible. It shouldn't be possible, but it is possible. Now, Donald Trump spoke for about 5 minutes today when he entered the New York courtroom where the closing arguments are going to be made today in his bookkeeping trial. I don't want to call it a hush money trial because you know what? Hush money is not illegal. The press tries to win on language on everything. And I have to discipline myself not to use the language that they use because the language that they use is purposeful. And it is most oftentimes not accurate, and that's not a coincidence. So this is a trial about a bookkeeping matter in the Trump organization, not a hush money trial, because hush money sounds worse. But what they won't tell you, and what the judge probably won't tell the jury today, because I just told you, the judge will not allow the attorneys on either side. He will not allow Trump's attorney in court in his closing argument today to say whether Donald Trump paid Stormy Daniels hush money or not doesn't matter, because paying hush money is not illegal. Clear the courtroom. That's a matter of the law. I will instruct the jury on what the law is. The attorneys will not. So another departure from normal court proceedings, which is to say another departure from a fair legal situation. Here is Donald Trump as he got ready to enter the courtroom today, his final comments to the assembled media.
Everybody says this is crazy, this is not a trial that should happen. It's a very sad day. This is a dark day in America. We have a rigged court case that should have never been brought, and it should have been brought in another jurisdiction. As you know, we asked for that, and the judge never allows us anything. And just to end, we had an election expert who was going to say everything was perfect, where the FEC did nothing, it was fine. And we had a lot of other people. I can give you a list of 40 people that would say the exact same thing as these people said. So thank you all very much. We'll see how it goes. This is a very dangerous day for America. It's a very sad day. Thank you.
He is not wrong on that. And I, as you know, have been slow to embrace him as my preferred candidate on the Republican side. I still think if I could go back and change it, I would have had Ron DeSantis be the candidate. But DeSantis showed a lot of vulnerability, made a lot of bad decisions. His campaign announcement that he was officially declaring for president was awkward and foolishly done on a Twitter live stream that didn't include video, that didn't include a cheering crowd, that didn't include a visual of his lovely family. Ron DeSantis might have made considerably more mistakes in his campaign. Trump is a seasoned campaigner. He draws crowds. The enthusiasm out there for him is certainly unmatched by the cadaver that is Joe Biden. But the bigger issue here is what we're seeing play out in New York City is a harbinger of things to come toward people who have viewpoints the left does not like. If Joe Biden is allowed to have a second term, they will farm him out so fast. He won't be the president anymore by the fall of 2025. No chance will he be the president by the fall of 2025. Kamala Harris will be the president. The radical face, the radical mask will be off the Democratic Party. I can't believe people don't see it already with this prosecution, with Joe Biden visiting a witness in the case against his son, Hunter Biden, Hallie Biden. He stops by her house on Sunday night, days before she's supposed to testify in the Hunter Biden federal gun charge trial. And the White House has the temerity to insinuate that all of us are so stupid that we would believe him when they say, oh, he just stopped by to say hello. He didn't talk about the case at all. But we have how many headlines from Politico and Axios and other liberal media organizations saying, what is the number one concern of Joe Biden these days? Oh, that his son will have to spend time in prison. But he's not going to talk to the widow of Beau Biden, the former bed partner of Hunter Biden, when he stops by her house 4 or 5 days before the trial begins. He's not going to talk to her, even though he's supremely concerned about the future and freedom of his son. He's not going to mention anything about the trial to Hallie Biden. Not a word. Yeah, sure. Of course. Tom Cotton, Arkansas Senator, strong candidate for vice president. He would be my favorite at this point in time. Here is Tom Cotton talking about the Democratic freakout around Joe Biden and about the unfairness of the Trump trial.
The Democrats are in a full-blown freakout because Joe Biden is a weak, failed president. The American people are tired of sky-high inflation, the chaos of an open border, and Uncle Sam wearing a kick-me sign on his back around the world because of Joe Biden. They remember what things were like under Donald Trump. We had strong wage growth. We had stable prices. Our border was secure, and America was respected and feared around the world. They want that back. And the Democrats know the only chance they have against Donald Trump is to try to convict him on sham charges. That's why you have a Democratic partisan prosecuting Donald Trump in New York with a partisan judge and a prosecutor who deployed from Joe Biden's Department of Justice to New York to prosecute this case. It's the only chance they have. But the American people know that things were better under Donald Trump, and no matter what kind of weaponization of the legal system the Democrats use, things will be better again under Donald Trump.
Haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
Find us at 9890theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Testimony is over at Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York, and closing arguments now underway.
Prosecutors and defense lawyers will be recapping their key points as they address the jury one last time. Before jury deliberations begin, the judge will instruct jurors on the law governing the case. To prevent a conviction, the defense simply needs to convince at least one juror that prosecutors have not proved Trump's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
White House correspondent Greg Cluxton, the Trump defense lawyers, now making their closing arguments. Also at townhall.com, powerful storms swept over much of the U.S. over the Memorial Day holiday weekend, causing at least 23 deaths. The destructive storms caused deaths in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Kentucky, and were just north of a heat wave that was setting records from South Texas to Florida.
Hey, I hope you guys have a good day. Sorry, I lost track.
Declines, consumer confidence.
Lost track of the time there. We'll be back with hour number 1 of the show tomorrow. You can catch hour number 2 of the show at 989 The Answer Facebook page or at the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page. Hope you have a great day. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll talk to you again very soon.